Episode 1: The Hidden Truth About Dogs. Do they really love us? When your dog looks into your eyes, tail gently moving, eyes soft, calm and present. Is that love? Or is it something else? For thousands of years, dogs have lived beside humans. They protect us. They wait for us. They choose us. But here's the hidden truth. Do dogs actually feel love the way we do? Or is their loyalty simply instinct and survival? Tonight, we uncover what science and history reveal about the emotional world of dogs. To truly understand the bond we share with our dogs, we have to travel back in time. Not just a few centuries, but deep into the harsh, unforgiving world of the last ice age. Over 15,000 years ago, during the late Pleistocene epoch, two highly intelligent social predators shared this challenging landscape: our human ancestors and the ancient gray wolf. For millennia, they were competitors, rivals for the same scarce prey. But then, something extraordinary and unprecedented began to unfold. Driven by hunger and the tantalizing scent of roasting meat, some wolves, cautious, wild predators, began to shadow human hunting parties and approach their camps. They weren't coming to attack. The risk of confronting these tool-wielding, fire-making primates was far too great. They were coming for a new, reliable source of food: our leftovers. They came to survive. And here, a crucial evolutionary filter came into play. The most aggressive or fearful wolves were chased off or killed. But the bolder, more curious, and less reactive individuals, the friendlier ones, were tolerated. They gained consistent access to calorie-rich food scraps, a huge advantage in a world of scarcity. This wasn't a choice humans made, but a process the wolves initiated themselves. It was the survival of the friendliest. In return, humans gained an invaluable ally. These proto-dogs served as a living alarm system, their keen senses alerting the camp to the approach of rivals or dangerous predators like cave bears and saber-toothed cats. They aided in tracking and cornering prey, making hunts more successful and less dangerous. A powerful, mutualistic partnership was born, and slowly, generation by generation, across thousands of years, those wolves changed. Their bodies and brains were rewired. They became physically softer, retaining puppy-like features into adulthood, a process called neoteny. They became more social, less hierarchical, and more tolerant of close contact. And most profoundly, they became more emotionally attuned to the strange, bipedal apes they now lived alongside. Eventually, they became the animal we know and love today. They became dogs. But here's what makes this ancient story so powerful and so relevant to our question. This wasn't just a simple case of domestication, where one species tames another for its own benefit. It was co-evolution, a biological dance where two species profoundly influenced each other's development. Humans and dogs evolved together, our fates intertwined. This partnership gave our ancestors a competitive edge, helping us survive and thrive across the globe. And that means something very important for our journey to understand them. Dogs didn't just adapt to live near us. For over 15,000 years, their very neurobiology has been shaped for one critical purpose: to adapt to understand us. For centuries, we've described the bond with our dogs in emotional, almost spiritual terms. We've felt their love, their loyalty, their seemingly bottomless affection. But what if we could see it? What if we could measure it? In the world of neuroscience, the invisible threads connecting us to our canine companions are finally coming into the light, revealing a biological story as profound as any poem ever written about a dog's devotion. The answers aren't just in their behavior, but deep within their brains, in the very chemistry that defines connection. A pivotal moment arrived in 2015, when a team of researchers in Japan, led by Miho Nagasawa and Takafumi Kikusui, made a discovery that changed everything. They weren't just observing behavior, they were measuring the biochemistry of the bond itself. Their experiment was elegantly simple. They brought dogs and their owners into a room and let them interact naturally for 30 minutes. Before and after, they collected urine samples from both the humans and the dogs, testing them for a very specific neurochemical. They found that when dogs and their owners simply gaze into each other's eyes, something remarkable happens inside both of them. Their bodies are flooded with a surge of oxytocin. Oxytocin is a powerful hormone, often called the love hormone or the bonding molecule. It is the very same hormone that cements the powerful primal connection between mothers and their newborn infants. It's released during moments of trust, empathy, and deep emotional bonding, acting as the social glue that holds our most important relationships together. In the study, the results were dose-dependent. The longer the dog and human held that mutual gaze, the higher the oxytocin levels rose, in both. This created what scientists call an oxytocin-mediated positive loop. The gaze triggers oxytocin, which encourages more gazing, which triggers more oxytocin. It's the same self-reinforcing cycle that strengthens the bond between a parent and child. Crucially, when the researchers ran the same experiment with wolves and their handlers, the dog's closest living relatives, this effect was absent. For wolves, a direct stare is often a threat, not a sign of affection. This suggests the mechanism is a unique product of domestication, a special communicative pathway that evolved specifically between dogs and humans. But oxytocin is only part of the story. Other studies, using fMRI technology to peer inside the canine brain, have uncovered more. Neuroscientist Gregory Burns trained dogs to lie perfectly still in an MRI scanner, allowing him to see their brains in action. When he presented the dogs with different smells, he found that the scent of their familiar owner triggered a massive response in the caudate nucleus, the reward center of their brain. This area is rich in dopamine receptors, the chemical of anticipation and pleasure. In humans, this same brain region lights up when we anticipate things we love, like seeing a loved one, hearing our favorite music, or eating delicious food. For a dog, the mere scent of their person is, to their brain, one of life's greatest rewards. It's not just a sign that food or a walk is coming. The owner's presence is the reward itself. Together, oxytocin and dopamine create a powerful neurochemical cocktail of love. Oxytocin fosters the calm, trusting feeling of attachment, while dopamine drives the joyful excitement and motivation to seek out that connection. This dual system forms the bedrock of the attachment circuitry. This circuitry isn't just about feeling good. It shapes behavior in ways that are strikingly similar to the attachment patterns seen in human children. A dog with a strong bond will often use their owner as a secure base from which to explore the world, showing more confidence when their person is near. This isn't just conditioning or cupboard love. This is a deep, biological, emotional connection, written in the ancient language of hormones and neurons. Our dogs don't just act like they love us. Their brains are wired to do so. Skeptics argue, dogs only love you because you feed them. It's a fair question, but science challenges that idea. In controlled experiments, dogs were given a choice: food from a stranger or affection from their owner. Many dogs chose the owner, even when no food was involved. In other studies, dogs showed signs of stress when separated from their humans. Elevated heart rate, whining, searching behavior. This mirrors attachment patterns seen in human children. If love is defined as attachment, comfort seeking emotional preference, distress at separation, then dogs check every box. Here's where things become more complex. Dogs don't experience emotions in the same layered way adults do. Their emotional range is often compared to that of a 2 to 3-year-old child. Simple, pure, immediate. They likely don't experience romantic love or complex guilt, but basic emotions? Joy, fear, attachment, affection, absolutely. When your dog greets you after 8 hours as if you've been gone for years, that reaction is real. Their brain releases dopamine, oxytocin rises, their body relaxes in your presence. That is not manipulation, that is emotional bonding. After exploring the science of oxytocin and the nuances of canine communication, we arrive at a more profound question. What is the true nature of the love our dogs feel for us? Is it merely a conditioned response for food and shelter, or something deeper? The hidden truth is that while their love may not look exactly like ours, it is profoundly real, expressed in a language all its own. Dogs have evolved over tens of thousands of years, not just to live beside humans, but to truly connect with us. This is a bond forged in shared history, a partnership that has shaped both our species. They have become masters at reading the subtle, often unconscious signals we send out every moment of the day. They are incredibly attuned to our emotional state. They meticulously watch and read our facial expressions, distinguishing a smile of joy from a furrowed brow of concern. A study from the University of Lincoln found that dogs are the only non-primate species able to recognize emotions on human faces. They create a composite mental image, combining what they see with what they hear to form a complete emotional picture. This visual perception is paired with an astonishing auditory sensitivity. They don't just hear our words, they detect the minute changes in our tone of voice, the pitch and cadence that betray our true feelings. A happy, high-pitched, good boy is processed differently in their brain than a low, somber sigh. They hear the music behind our words, the emotional score of our lives. But perhaps their most remarkable sensory ability is one we can barely comprehend. They can smell our emotions. Our bodies release specific chemical compounds, or chemosignals, when we experience feelings like stress or fear. One of the most well-known is cortisol, the stress hormone. Groundbreaking studies have demonstrated that dogs can detect these infinitesimal changes in our scent profile with incredible accuracy. When we are anxious, they may literally smell our anxiety on our breath and sweat. This isn't magic, it's biology. It's the result of a nasal architecture hundreds of times more powerful than our own, an olfactory superpower dedicated to understanding their favorite person, you. And what do they do with this wealth of emotional data? They comfort us. They offer a gentle nudge, a comforting weight in our lap, or a quiet presence when we need it most. This isn't a behavior they are trained to perform for a reward. It is an innate, empathetic response. It happens because they are bonded to us, their well-being intrinsically linked to our own. And maybe the most powerful truth of all is what they choose to ignore. In a world that constantly judges us, dogs don't care about our social status, our job title, or the balance in our bank account. They are indifferent to our appearance, our fashion choices, or our supposed flaws. Their world isn't built on these complex and often superficial human constructs. Instead, they respond to what is real and immediate. They respond to presence, to the simple act of you being there with them, focused and engaged. They respond to energy, matching your calm with their own, or your excitement with playful glee. Above all, they respond to connection. Their love is simple, unburdened by ego or expectation. And perhaps in our complicated world, that is precisely why it feels so incredibly pure. So, do dogs really love us? Science says they form deep emotional bonds. History shows they chose to evolve with us. Their brains respond to us in ways that mirror human attachment. Maybe the better question is not, do dogs love us like humans? But rather, have we learned to love as purely as dogs? This is only the first hidden truth. In the next episode, we explore what truly happens inside a dog's mind when you leave home. Because separation reveals even deeper emotional secrets.